Made it to the track. We have one of the nicest cars and some of the shittiest cars. America, baby. We are so limited on power, but this thing is so much fun. Tires are greasy, we're limited on power. Well, that was an interesting one. As I was unplugging, this Model X owner asked for me to help them plug in. Watch out, we got the race cars coming. And the Spark. Oh, there's a plug-in hybrid maybe pulling in here. Wow. What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. Today you're joining me in my 2022 F150 Lightning Lariat. We're headed to the Out of Spec track. So as I mentioned, we're headed to the Out of Spec track, which if you're not familiar, is basically in Virginia almost. It's basically I-95 and the Virginia border north of Raleigh, or like kind of northeast of Raleigh. I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, so about 250 or so miles away. We're going to be doing this as a round trip in one day, so about 500 miles today. We're starting off with a full charge. Let me show you guys the route and kind of the plan for today. So as I mentioned, we're at 100% state of charge, 320 miles estimated. We have 129.91 kilowatt hour in the pack and 100% displayed. And it's giving us a couple different routes. So we're going to basically be going from here in Charlotte all the way over here to Halifax, North Carolina, Tesla Supercharger there. We'll top off to about 55, 65%, somewhere in there. And then we'll go up to the track, which is in Gettysburg. You can see there's the Virginia border. And we'll go just a bit past it there. And then we'll head back. So on the way back, we'll be stopping in Greensboro at the Mercedes Alpitronic site. And we will charge a little bit at the track on level 2. But part of the reason I'm going today is to hopefully get some better charging at the track and help Kyle figure out the plan for that. So let's get on the road. If I want to skip a charge, it wants me to go this terrible route. Let's see if I can just show it on the screen here instead. Let's see, recents. So let's see what it says here. So if I want to skip a charge, it wants me to go this ridiculous back road way that will take longer. We're going to be going via I-40 and then I-85. So we'll do this one that adds a stop for charging, even though we're not going to stop and charge. And then as we get closer, I don't know why it's showing that one as an hour and 54 minutes faster. That seems, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we're going to get on the road this way. I'll probably go, it'll take us through, I'm just going to put in Apple Maps as a different vehicle. Let's do end route. So here you can just select different car, and then it will give you the best route, as ridiculous as that is, which you shouldn't need to do. So we are going this way, which is the most direct route. Really wish I didn't have to play these games with Apple Maps. I wish the nav was a bit better. And we're going to be going this way, and then as we get a little closer, I'll change it over to actually being the Lightning. So that way we actually get the estimate on arrival, but 240 miles should be no problem. We have 320 miles estimated range, so we'll just need to keep the speeds in check, and we should roll in with single digits. Just got my Starbucks, got some snacks, got my drone charging, and let's get on the road. Well, we made it to the Halifax Supercharger. There's another F150 next to us. That's an XLT, which is in the Rapid Red, I think they call it, color, which looks really nice. We drove, let's see, 238 miles, 2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is actually really decent. We ride with 7%. We crossed 60,000 miles on the odometer of my truck on this drive. Let's get the supercharger activated to not waste any time. We are on 4D. This is a 60 stall supercharger, so we'll activate it there. I've done a whole tour of this site, actually, if you haven't seen that already, on my channel probably a few months ago at this point. Open up the charge port. And then these are version 4 posts, so it makes it a lot easier, but I don't think these are Magic Dock. Nope, no Magic Dock that's present. They have the adapters built in, but they're not activated for whatever reason. So let me just hold this awkwardly and then put the adapter on. I'm using the official Tesla made one today. So we got that plugged in. Looks like we're communicating. Let's see what we ramp up to. We should get full 500 amps. Site's pretty much empty. And we're probably gonna charge to about like 65% or so. So there we are, ramping up. You can see the charger power there. Or sorry, battery power. So that's not necessarily what's coming into the port, but rather what is going into the battery. And then same up here with current. So there we have it, over 160 kilowatts. So we're gonna charge up for just a little bit. I need to use the restroom, and then we're gonna head to the Out of Spec track. Here are the old Tesla Superchargers here. There are 12 of the version 2s with the lights kind of integrated into the prefabricated supercharger units. And then we have the one CCS DC fast charger with the one that was ripped out. So that's what I would be stuck using if I didn't have Tesla Supercharger access. Let's see what the cost is on this. So it's 50 kilowatts, so it would be much slower. Let's see. So it is slightly cheaper, I guess. 30 cents a kilowatt hour. I was paying 35 cents a kilowatt hour on the Tesla Supercharger, but I will happily pay 5 cents a kilowatt hour more to have full power versus 50 kilowatt and to have multiple options instead of just one. So that is a price I will happily pay. Let's see what the truck's at when I use the restroom. It's pretty nice in there. It's no Buc-ee's. The restrooms were not the cleanest, but pretty decent selection of food and all that stuff. So cannot complain in that regard. Other Lightning's still charging. Trash cans could use some emptying. Almost all of them are full here, so maybe not the best maintained out here. Let's see what we're charged up to. So it looks like we have derated a bit. We're down to 98 kilowatt. Probably due to the pin temp, we're charged up to 40%. So a little bit longer and then we'll head out. Just finished charging at 60%. Let's see. Charging stop. Why doesn't it show me my price? Or I guess once I unplug. We're at 79.4 kilowatt hour in the pack. Let's see if I can do this one-handed, maybe. Oh, okay, I gotta set that down. Otherwise, I'm going to end up throwing this across the room. It looks like it was $24.13. We charged for 35 minutes, 36 minutes-ish. So let's head to the track. We have a whopping 13-minute drive there. Let's get to it. Made it to the track. We have one of the nicest cars and some of the shittiest cars. America, baby. Well, I found a race car. Let's go out to the track and figure out if there's one pedal drive in this thing somehow. Sport. I guess I need to put it in L when it's in drive, and then I should have it. We've got the tire pressure set ridiculous levels. Kyle's going to take the Polestar one out. We've got the Lightning charging a bit. Let's do this thing. Dang, that thing looks so good. Look at that wide back end. And the headlights, they kind of duck in a little bit. That thing looks really good. We are so limited on power, but this thing is so much fun. Tires are greasy. We're limited on power. Let's just do a kind of a spotting lap here. You guys will see what it's like. I'll drive one-handed. Tires are definitely losing their performance. They're getting even a little loud, it seems. You can see the Polestar 1 out there as well. So much faster. Ignore my terrible line through there. Oops. Holding on for dear life. Let's go wide. Tuck in towards the end. I'll do a double apex here, go out a little bit, and then come back in. And then we'll go into the S's. Tuck in. Straighten out. Almost clip the inside. Again, very limited on power. Tap the brakes, set up the car, let it rotate. Go wide a little bit and then tuck back in. And then we'll see if we can even do another lap. We're coming into the straight. This car tops out at 90. Don't want to have to tow it back, but we will if we need to. And I think I'll pull off here because it's charge vehicle now. And just like that, this car will top out at 90 going down the straight. And it's a heck of a lot of fun.
How much charge you got now?
Low. How much charge you have?
It used over 30% just in one hard lap, basically.
Wow.
And I'm using the combustion engine too.
So, I mean, I guess that's just augmenting the power.
Yeah, and it's trying to charge it off the engine as well.
So it's running the engine even harder than it needs to just to charge it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This thing's a hoot.
Isn't that car great?
And, like, it rotates really well. I think the 60 PSI on the rear tires is helping that, but...
We balanced it out for you.
But, I mean, the tires got greasy, but overall it handled well, and, like, it held power, too.
Yeah.
Until the very end when it was cutting.
Yeah, I mean, it's got great thermals, great car. We just need a little DC charger. You can rip that thing all day.
Yeah, because the AC charging is way too slow.
Yeah, that's its main problem. If it had a 48 amp onboard charger...
No, you wouldn't even need DC charging for this.
Done in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you up at the...
All right, see you at the track. So the energy history on here, probably those miles, about the same as the energy usage in the Lightning, just driving normally, but that's full send, or not quite full send on the track. Watch out, we got the race cars coming. And the Spark. Well, we are heading out. We are at 54% state of charge, which does look like we need to make a quick stop at the Halifax Blink station. So we're going to navigate there instead, and then we'll cut over at that point rather than having to drive slow the entire way to Greensboro. So I'll probably just add like 10% and then we'll continue on rather than having to drive slow, because adding a little bit of charge for 5 minutes when you're driving right by is going to be faster. We made it back to the Halifax Supercharger. It's cool that they have an EV specific sign there. And no trucks allowed in here very clearly. So we're gonna charge up a little bit, There's a new Y over there, not realizing that they'd probably get a little better performance and they'd get shade over here. And I'll pull into the same one I used, or I guess slightly different one than I used last time. So this is 4C. And let's get it activated, plugged in, and see what we get. We got the truck a little bit dirty, going a little off-road around the track. Not around the track per se, like while doing a lap, but around the outskirts of the track. We went on some dirt trails, just exploring the different things around. But Mudflaps did a really good job of keeping things off the running boards and kind of off the back of the truck, so that's nice. Probably take it through a car wash tonight or tomorrow, but there we have it. Let's see what we're charging at. I just started it. $176 kilowatts into the battery. Love to see it. That's what happens when you plug in at high state of charge with the boost profile of the truck. So probably gonna run and use the restroom. There's that new Y poking through. And then we should have enough to get on the road. Well, I figured out my route. So we're gonna go this way to the Mercedes charger in Greensboro through Raleigh. So if we charge to 70% here, let's see what a better route planner says. Save, plan. So let's do that route. So it's plus 8 minutes, but I think that's going to be a little bit of an easier drive, and I'll probably end up beating it because that's mostly highway. It wants me to charge to 73% to get there with 5%, but I'm good with getting there with 2%. I can always slow down if needed. So we're gonna get going at 70%. We're 2 minutes away from that roughly at 68%. We're charging at 90 kilowatts, which is not amazing. Let's see. We're at $8.70, 24 kilowatt hour added. So it looks like we should be done in just a moment, and then we'll get on the road. That's about 160 miles to go, so we'll have to average about 2 miles per kilowatt hour to be on the safe side and not eat into the unusable, I think, buffer. But yeah, looks like we're just about done, so gonna be ready to jump out, unplug, get on the road. Let's get our CarPlay going. I don't know why it had Raleigh selected there. Go. And there we have charge set level. Let's unplug. We'll get on the road. Well, that was an interesting one. As I was unplugging, this Model X owner asked for me to help them plug in, which I was quite confused by. But turns out when they opened their charge port, it didn't drop the latch pin, so they couldn't plug in. So I had them hit the unlock charge port button in the app, and then it dropped the locking pin, and then they were able to charge just fine. So very strange. Here we have it set. So I don't have it set for the Lightning as navigating. Let's turn the truck on so we get air conditioning going. Let's actually just try it on it knowing that it's the Lightning. Let's see what it says. So it wants all these different routes, which it's very annoying that it does that. So let's just do this as if it's not the Lightning, because it doesn't give you the ideal route. I guess let's see if those routes are shorter somehow with traffic, maybe. I guess let's go this way and just see what happens. Go a different route. Well, I managed to miss my turn, and it's wanting me to go basically 10 miles out of the way to go back. I'm wondering if I can just go to 264 down there, if that makes more sense. It probably will if I had to guess, rather than going out of the way. But yeah, that's a bit of a deficit there. 145 miles to go and 137 miles of range. So let's mess with the nav, see what we can do, see if we can go. Yeah, there we go. 5 minutes faster. 139 miles, 137 miles of range. That looks a lot more doable. And I think that will adjust a bit as we go. I have not switched it to knowing that we're navigating the Lightning, so it doesn't have state of charge routing. But I'll swap it onto that as we get closer, and hopefully we'll still make it. Otherwise, there are a lot of different Tesla Superchargers along the way that we could dip into if needed. Well, we've got 79 miles to go. Looks like we are going through Raleigh rather than around. I swapped routes. We've got a little bit of traffic along the way. However, we no longer have a negative delta. We have 79 miles to go, 81 miles of estimated range. I've not swapped it to know that this is the Lightning to have the arrival estimate, but I'll do that in a little bit. I think it will still want to add a charging stop, so I don't like that. But we're going to continue on, and we're going to head all the way to Greensboro. It's going to be tight, but I'm fine with that. We've got 43 kilowatt hour in the pack and 79 miles to go, so very doable in my opinion. So I managed to get the connected navigation built-in nav actually working for once. It looks like we're estimating an arrival of 1%. Friendly Center is where the charging is. 39 miles range, 36 miles to go. So definitely cutting it close, and it's a little rainy, but I think it will be just fine. Have arrived with 3% state of charge. We are in Greensboro. We have 8.27 kilowatt hour in the battery. We have driven 166.2 miles this leg and 442 miles so far today. I'm getting the charge point app up, and we are on number 8, it looks like, with the label up there. Let's do 7-8. All right, we'll do port A, I guess. Start charge, yes. So let's get plugged in. Yep, there we go, authenticating. Interesting, those are metal bollards. Walked into that a little bit. Open my charge port. This was maybe not the best choice for which stall to use with my truck. I thought this would be the best, but maybe not. Anyway, seems fine. These are our Mercedes Alpitronic units. So we're plugged in. Should be plugged in anyway. Make sure it's fully seated. There we go. Not sure why that didn't work the first time, but worked there. I think the truck was just kind of finicky there. So here we are. We'll ramp up here in a moment. I'll help that out front. I think that will help a little bit. I don't really know. I don't really want it hitting my door. Go into charging detail. So you can see there we're ramping up 85 kilowatt, 3%. $135, $148. We should get probably 160 something here. Yep, there we go, 160. 165. So there we go. We're getting 500 amps offered, and we're charging 165 kilowatts into the battery. So we're going to charge up here. I need to figure out how much we need to charge to get home, and then we'll go home. It's a nice spot. We've got Craft and Vine. We've got a Williams and Sonoma, Apple Store, Anthropology, Pottery Barn, California Closets. There's a Whole Foods right over there. So lots of good options here. And we have, let's see, 10 stalls, as is pretty typical for the Mercedes installation. So 2 singles, 2 doubles, and 2 doubles. So awesome. Looks like we have a nice and gradual dip, 3 to 23%. Looks like that was when the stack was removed, and also when we hit 61C pin temp, so definitely a derate there. Fords also have a tendency to overreact as the power, or as the charger adjusts the power available. So you can see there, 427 amps available. But we're going to keep charging up. I think I need to get to about 55% or so to get home with a reasonable amount of buffer, and then we'll hit the roads. But still doing 120 kilowatts there, so nothing to complain about at all. Well, we've charged up to 64%, so I'm going to set my charge limit to 65%, and then we'll take off. Oh, there's a plug-in hybrid maybe pulling in here. Wow. I don't see those charging very often, but yeah, it's the GLE 450E. They're actually DC fast charging a plug-in hybrid. That is quite something. So I might charge another moment and just see what's going on there, because that's very interesting to me. We're at 64%, 85 kilowatt hour in the pack, so we'll charge a little bit longer than hit the road. We have, I think, about 110 miles home. Well, we definitely overcharged, but that is fine. We're at 98.9. I'm just going to let it get to 80%, I guess, at this point, since we're at 99 kilowatt hour. I want to get to 100 kilowatt hour. I like to see that. Let's see, we're at 77%. It is starting to rain. So there we go. We should be done in just a moment. And I talked to the plug-in hybrid Mercedes owner, the GLE 450E owner. Turns out he charges here because his garage is being renovated and he wants to charge because it drives better, and that way he doesn't have to use gas. And also the charging here is free because of the Mercedes app, I guess, or with purchase. I'm not sure the exact agreement there, but he says it takes about half an hour, and I looked at the charge curve and it was basically 57 kilowatts flat, which is pretty awesome actually. So a lot of EVs don't even have a charge curve like that, whereas that's just flat out. And to DC fast charge a plug-in hybrid is actually kind of cool in my opinion. I wouldn't want that to take the last plug at a DC fast charging site, but for example, here when there's 10 ports and I'm the only one here until he got here, I don't see any problem with that at all. Why not? So anyway, we're just going to charge 1 more percent and then we're going to hit the road. So it looks like we'll get home with about 33% or so. So let's get to it and get on the road. 108 miles to go. We're charged to 80%, 106 kilowatt hour in the pack. There you can see 120 kilowatt average, 3 to 80%, adding 103 kilowatt hour. There's the curve. Great to see. Let's get unplugged and get on the road.
It's easy to remember where I started. The doors that opened up, a place I long to find. My fear and money disregarded for another time. No, I didn't know it hit me out of nowhere. No, I didn't know it, but I had to go there. Take me back to the place I'm missing. Oh, I wanna catch a fever in the underground. No amount of nothing that can replace. I remember dreaming, rolling up just to get away. I'm screaming now or never. No, I didn't know it, but I had get away. Just to get away. Take me back to the place I'm missing. Oh, I wanna catch a fever in the underground. No amount of nothing that can replace. I remember dreaming, rolling up just to get away. Take me back to the place I'm missing. Oh, I wanna catch a fever in the underground. No amount of nothing that can replace. I remember dreaming, rolling up just to get away. Just to get away. Yesterday's far enough away to take me back to the place I'm missing. Just to get away. Take me back to the place I'm missing.
Well, 556 miles today later, we have made it home. We did 114 miles on that leg, 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour, and 1.9 miles per kilowatt hour overall for the entire day. We arrived home with 32%. So there we have those trips. We have 40 kilowatt hour in the battery, if that wants to focus. And we did, a lot of miles. So overall, today was pretty uneventful. I definitely could have optimized the charging more. I should have charged longer my first charging stop before I went to the track. If I had charged there to like 80%, I think that would have made a big difference. We also went to lunch in my truck, which definitely didn't help with having as much range needed to get to Greensboro without that second stop at Halifax. And I was planning on like 10, 11 kilowatt charging at the track, but because I was running the AC and I was only on a NEMA 1450 at 208 volt instead of at 240 volt, I was only getting like 5 or 6 kilowatt into the battery, which definitely wasn't ideal and meant that I didn't add as much energy as I had kind of planned on based on a better route planner, but that was my own mistake. Hopefully there should be a lot better charging soon at the track, which is part of the reason I went. But anyway, if you guys made it this far, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow along for more content like this, pushing EVs to their boundary. I'd say 500 miles in one day is definitely not the ideal use case for an EV, but it's doable. Definitely love this truck. This thing is so comfortable. And I'm just really glad I have the comma as well, because it was just so easy to pile on all the miles. So see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for watching.